All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the demolition theme from the WWE, and that's just the way that I feel here today. Being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, this defense, this team is horrible. We said it's 6-5 still. Somehow, some way, we are atop of the AFC North. I don't know how. Aaron Rodgers makes his return back to the starting lineup today as our number one QB. Asante Samuel was activated for the game, and I want to bring into you my main man Dees, who is in a snowy suburb from Chicago by the cornfields. Dees, how you doing this morning?
It's not a suburb. It's nowhere fucking near the suburbs. And a fun fact, Demolitions actually never had lyrics until they decided to put it on an album. And whoever wrote the lyrics, please stop. Because that's horrible. Let me know when you get that cease and desist.
Well, they'll probably block us on
WWE is pretty protective of their.
Yeah, they'll probably.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this team sucks, and it starts at the top.
Don't put the blame on Tomlin. Don't put the blame on Tomlin because everybody's going to come at you if you put the blame on Tomlin.
I don't give a shit because it points at Rooney, but it's all because of Tomlin. I'm sick of these Tomlin defenders. I will say there's fewer of them, but they're still out there. I don't know what the hell is in their water that has caused them to go completely stupid, but I have spent an amount of time that I'm not comfortable admitting, digging deep, studying shit like I'm trying to fucking find the shooter on the Zapruder film. And this all started long ago, and it's only gotten worse. And people there's a lot of people out there that see it, but there's some that don't. I mean, you can damn near, just by going back and looking at stats and things, you can damn near pinpoint when the problem started. And the
problem started.
Tell you that 2018.
With what?
Ben and the Triple Bs had a great 2017. Probably should have been a Super Bowl team, but the defense wasn't all that good. Well, okay, let me put it this way. The offensive problem started around then. The defensive problem started before that when LeBeau had a bad year. LeBeau's defense had a bad year. And basically Tomlin told him that from now on he was taking over and changing everything up, which you recall Debo even said when he got cut and came back, how the defense was completely dumbed down. And then from there, why do you think When Dick LeBeau left here's a trivia question for you. When Dick LeBeau left here, did he retire?
No, he did not retire.
Correct. Why is that? Because he wanted to keep coaching. Well, he didn't want to coach if he couldn't be allowed to coach. So they mutually agreed to part ways, and he went to Tennessee where they didn't have the talent, period, and his defense wasn't all that great. But then they brought in Keith Butler, who was basically an in-house hire, a yes man, to do what Mike Tomlin said, and then the defense sucked, and so he had to go. And then they brought in what? An in-house hire who's a yes man, who basically does what Tomlin says. And the talent level has gone higher, obviously, but the problems are still there. Like the schemes are fucking horrible. It's so easy. It's still basically the same kind of schemes, which is why any quarterback that's been in the league for more than a few years can just watch some game film and tell exactly what we're doing. And smart coaches can identify that as well, i.e. Ben Johnson running 4 verts against a cover 3, and nobody's smart enough to check out of that. But anyway, back to the offense, because that's where, at the end of the day, that's where our problem lies. Our defense, even though the scheme sucks and everybody kind of knows what we're doing with it, the scheme has been, or not the scheme, the players have been good enough to kind of mask that over the years. Not always, but usually. Offensively, if you go back and look, the 2017 Steelers with the triple Bs and everything literally was killing it. Defense wasn't quite up to snuff then. So 2018, and things kind of started to unravel a little bit. I think Ben was holding on to the ball a little bit too long. Clearly, his age was starting to catch up to him, so he couldn't quite get away. Took a lot of sacks, had more picks than usual. And I believe that was the offseason where Todd Haley was let go. And Randy Fichtner was the quarterback's coach. Ben really liked Randy Fichtner. So in-house hire. That's when, if you go back, and you can even track it just by the pure passing stats, you can see the change in air yards and yards per attempt, things of that nature. The interceptions went down. And why is that? Because they stopped taking chances over the middle of the field. They stopped, getting those deep balls across the middle, and when not even deep, but 10 yards and so forth. And the only thing that really saved face with us is we still had guys like Deontay Johnson and for a year or two there, Antonio Brown before he went batshit crazy, and to some degree Juju Smith-Schuster, guys that could get open, that were great route runners. They could lose a guy in one step and have that window, and a guy like Ben could find it. But you could start to see, like we haven't been happy with our offensive scheme and play calling since then. Can you remember whether it was Fichtner, Canada, or Arthur Smith, where you felt confident in the offensive coordinator and the way that he called a game?
Absolutely not. I haven't felt comfortable in years with the offensive coordinator calling the game. Absolutely not. Why should we be?
And so you've seen it. We shouldn't. You're right. And you've seen the downward spiral ever since, through the running backs and everything. We've had decent running backs. The Najee Harris got a lot of hate, but Najee Harris was a hell of a running back, but Najee Harris suffered through really bad times when it comes to the offensive line. Jaylen Warren, again, really good running back. Offensive line is starting to get there, but now we have, for whatever reason, we have a coaching staff that refuses to believe in him, even though the evidence is there that when he has the ball in his hands, things happen. And this is no knock on Kenny Gainwell. Kenny Gainwell had a great game, but at the end of the day, they should not be 50-50 in touches. And sometimes it's not even that. Kenny gets more. We've only ran the ball 30 times, I think twice all year long. And it just, like, the man that sits there and preaches, we don't live in our fears, does exactly that. He lives exactly in his fears and always has. He's at the bottom of the league when it comes to going for it on fourth down. And it's over. It's been over. And
You
now
talk.
let's go to this Bears game. I mean,
Yeah, let's get to the Bears game real quick. You talk about runs. The Steelers total, they had 8, 28, 30, 33, 35, 36 total rushing attempts. 10 to Gainwell for 10 attempts for 92 yards, long 55-yarder. Jalen Warren had 18 carries for 68 yards with one touchdown, 12-yard long. Metcalf had two rushes for 12 yards with a touchdown. Mason Rudolph had three touches for 7 yards. Jonnu Smith 2 for 7. Connor Haywood 1 for 0. I mean, so there's your receive or rushing for there. Then you go to the quarterback play. Mason Rudolph 24 of 31 for 171 yards, one touchdown, one interception. That's what the Steelers stats were. And Calvin Austin was your third leading wide receiver with targets. He had 5. Kenneth Gainwell, your running back, had 6. DK Metcalf had 5 catches for 22 yards. 5 catches for 22 yards for your number one wide receiver. What is wrong with that?
You know, and take away 2 of those DK Metcalf carries because those were basically passes outside that just happened to be behind. They were ruled laterals. Those weren't rushing attempts. And fuck the officials because Connor Hayward had more than 0 yards. He got that first down. But I digress. That offensive game plan, honestly, may have been the most idiotic, fireable, insane fucking plan I've ever seen. You're going up against a defense which already wasn't that great. Yeah, they have a lot of turnovers. But so what? You're talking about a defense that was walking into the game without their top 3 middle linebackers and lost one in the game. So you're talking 5th, 6th, 7th string guys. And we attempted one fucking pass over the middle beyond 10 yards. And that was the touchdown to Freiermuth, which was a laser. Of the however many attempts that he had, what'd you say, 31 attempts, passing attempts for Mason?
Yep, 31 passing
like that.
Yep.
Yeah, of those 31 attempts, only 6 of them were beyond 10 yards. 6 out of 31. And of course, we know that only 1 was the middle of the field. You can't. You fucking can't. And we're showing that. It gets worse, Dave. It absolutely gets worse. This season, the Pittsburgh Steelers have attempted 338 passes. The area from the numbers to the other side, the numbers, which is basically middle of the field, 10 yards or more. Do you know how many passes have been attempted in that area? That's a wide area, by the way.
10 yards or more, I would say.
In 300,
11.
In 338 attempts, 20,
yeah,
which is horrible. And if you narrow it down even more and say you're going to attack just a little bit deeper, 16 yards is where they used. I don't know why they picked 16 yards, but once you get to the 16-yard mark, then it drops down to 10. He's afraid to throw over the middle. He is absolutely afraid to throw over the middle. And you might say to yourself, well, Dees, you have Aaron Rodgers. Why doesn't he just do that? And I'll tell you why. Because we don't run any fucking routes over the middle. Okay, I believe the count was in this Bears game, the total routes ran was, I don't know, in the neighborhood of 140, 150. That is for every passing play, everybody's routes. They totaled it up. And for the entire game, 11 times did a route cross the 10-yard mark in the middle of the field. 11.
I mean, I don't understand.
Like, you're not even trying.
Yeah, I don't understand why you can't see that. Like, you watch film every week after the game. You guys
He
put a
can see
game.
it.
Yeah,
He
you guys put a game plan together to go out and win football games. Well, at least that's what Tomlin says. They want to go out and win football games. But to me, by them stats that you're talking about, you don't want to win a football game. You want to be comfortable where
No,
you're
he
at.
wants to not lose it. He wants to not lose it. He is so afraid of turning the ball over that we don't attack that quote dangerous part of the field. Hell, he fucking admitted it when we played the Falcons. He last year they asked him about, because if you recall that game with Justin Fields, like they attempted almost no passes in the middle. And Tomlin all but said that's because they have two great safeties there, and we didn't want to take the risk. For a guy that preaches we don't live in our fears, he does exactly that. It is, yeah, no shit. I'm done. Like literally, I'm done wasting emotion on my Sundays until this fucking clown is gone.
I mean,
I want fire Tomlin chance the way they were fire Canada chance.
I agree with you.
I feel like the swell is growing.
I agree with you. Have been wanting him gone for about 4 years now, since COVID, since we started out 12-0 and we lost 6 straight games, and then last year we lost five straight games at the end of the season. And like, I don't
We didn't lose
understand.
6 straight.
Yeah, they did. They went 11-6 at the end of COVID, didn't they?
No, I think was it
Yeah, they went 11 and
11
6.
and 5. They didn't lose them all in a row. They didn't lose them all in a row, but clearly they looked, you could tell that they weren't as good as they were. But anyway, yeah, last year we definitely lost 5 in a row, but I don't believe they tanked completely. Either way, yeah, you knew it was coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not understanding the philosophy inside the Steelers organization. You say it starts at the top with Rooney, but Khan's got to say, listen, we got $140 million spent on this defense, and we keep adding every week. And for the people who out there are talking about Asante Samuel going to fix this defense, I mean, he's one person. He's not going to fix it. You still have other holes in this defense that you
No.
need to fix. I mean, and you know what? Listen, kudos to Myles Garrett for being close to the sack record, and he'll probably break it. But I'm already so sick and tired of hearing, where's TJ Watt? Where's TJ Watt? He's only getting 7 sacks. Where's he at? He didn't show up. Well, you know what? He deserves to hear that backlash. And so does the organization need to hear that backlash, because you inked him to a big deal, and you told us that he was going to move around this year. He has not. He has not moved around. There's other people that are stepping up.
No, and again, it's
Go ahead.
I was just again, that's part of the scheme. That's part of the fact that our secondary hasn't been able to cover anybody. Yeah, TJ's not having a great year, but a lot of that is because teams now know how to beat this defense that has been the same for the last 15 years.
I mean,
If you look at TJ's stats after 11 games, he is literally on pace to be right in the same area that he was in last year when he was 4th in the league in defensive player of the year.
let me ask you this.
He's not making the big splash plays that we want.
Let me ask you this. Do you think he gets back to the player that he was 2 years ago? You think he gets back to the player he was 2 years ago?
I think he could if again, you got to cover. You can't just be predictable. He can't get to the quarterback in less than 2 seconds. I don't know how different I can say that. You watch the game, the ball's fucking gone.
Well,
That's how you beat this defense.
How's Myles Garrett
isn't smart enough to adjust.
How's Garrett getting there?
Well, Garrett moves around, and teams don't play him the same. Watch a Browns game. Like they're not 1-2 throw. They should be, because I think that you could be, but the scheme is different. The scheme, like, I don't know if they're better at disguising or what, but, and don't get me wrong, Myles Garrett is amazing, but again, he moves around. Not to mention the fact, again, TJ Watt is doubled and chipped more than anybody in the league. but the scheme is what's killing him. He's getting older. So do I think he can still be 22 sacks? I don't know. But I definitely think that if our scheme was changed up a little bit and a coach was smart enough to move him around and maybe disguise some things and confuse a quarterback, then maybe he could get home a little more often.
Okay.
They've wasted his career.
So then let me ask you this question. If we can see that, then why can't they see that? Why are they not making the proper adjustments to
They
do?
can't. I can't answer that question, but there's no way that they don't see it. I just think he's that stubborn. And you talk about Omar Khan, you got to remember Omar Khan has been there for fucking close to 20 years. Him and Tomlin I mean, they grew up together basically. They're like brothers. So they're both like at this point damn near locked at the hip. And Rooney doesn't give a shit because Rooney is cashing them checks.
I mean,
It's that simple. Like
I don't get it. And then why do you go out and sign another wide receiver MVS and you don't even bring him up on the roster? You're giving these other people opportunities on the roster to make plays that they're not capable of making. And here's my other thing. Like, you knew that you needed a number 2 wide receiver after you traded for DK Metcalf. And boy, oh boy, I hate to say this, but that George Pickens trade is looking real good for Dallas. Real good for Dallas.
Yeah. You know why it's looking real good for Dallas? Because they treat George Pickens like a wide receiver and not just a deep ball guy. George Pickens is running all the routes. He's getting balls. He's happy. He even admits that he was childish and shouldn't have acted that way in Pittsburgh. But at the same time, when you look at this offense and you look at the way that they used him, I kind of start to get it. We knew he was a hothead. He was a hothead in college. But then you tell him, okay, you're going to run deep. You're going to run nothing but fucking on the sidelines. Dallas was like, no, you can run wherever the fuck you want. And he's probably going to be the best receiver in the league in the next couple of years.
You look back at all the wide receivers that have been drafted by Pittsburgh and that has came up through Tomlin, and you see how many of them are 1,000-yard receivers either with Pittsburgh or after they left Pittsburgh. We can start with Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace was one. Then we're going to go to Bryant, Antonio Brown. Who else did they have that left? Santonio Holmes, George Pickens, Deontay
Before we go through the list, hold on. Let me stop you for a second. Mike Wallace, that was they had to pay somebody, whether it was Wallace, Emmanuel Sanders, or Antonio Brown. Like all 3 of those guys came up basically together.
I forgot about Sanders. He's another one.
They made a choice there. And they chose Antonio Brown. So I'm not mad at that. Yeah, those guys, they were good receivers, but you weren't going to keep all 3 of those guys together. The money just wasn't there. But yeah, you're right. Deontay Johnson turned into a locker room case, which now I maybe get it. Although Deontay was an elite route runner, Deontay hasn't done shit since he left here. Antonio Brown, again, went batshit for whatever reason and proved that. And then Tom Brady was able to reel him in at least for a season and a half. And then what? Now he's fucking wanted for murder. So he was batshit. Santonio Holmes, I just feel like they thought that he was about done. And Santonio never really flourished with the Jets. He did okay, but it's not like I looked at Santonio Holmes and went, God, I wish we'd have kept him. But yeah, like they let George go. And they replaced him with DK Metcalf. Well, DK Metcalf isn't George Pickens. DK Metcalf is not a go ball combat catch guy. DK Metcalf is a guy that you want running inside, slants, posts, digs, and then he can hurt you with his speed. He's not a deep ball guy, and they keep treating him like that, and they're paying him $130 million to do it, and it's not working.
Yeah,
we don't have an elite route runner. Although I will say Roman Wilson is getting open. I watched the all 22 of this Bears game. Roman Wilson is getting separation. He's getting open.
How come they're not
more
getting
than any
football?
other receiver?
How are you not getting the football then?
You're asking Call Mike. Ask him. Call Arthur. I don't know. The routes suck. They're not attacking the middle of the field. You know, you have what are tight ends known for?
Middle of the field, short down conversion.
Enjoy. He's gonna. Yeah, exactly. And what do? Not that. You know, not enough anyway.
I mean, you got a 311-pound, 6'8" tight end that is ungodly talented, and you're not using him. Why don't you use him like on a short and goal as a fullback in the backfield as an extra blocker? Give him the football. They're not going to expect that if he's lined up back there. I'm not understanding that. You talk about this Arthur Smith offense, and it's supposed to be so great with the 3 tight end, 4 tight end set, but we have not used it yet. We haven't. You're right, Dees. We haven't pushed the ball down the field at all. I've watched probably 11 of the games this year, and I've only seen us throw the ball down the field probably 3 or 4 times.
Because it's really not the Arthur Smith offense. It's not. And I just want to come out and publicly say to Matt Canada, A, you did suck, but B, I apologize because I understand now that you are absolutely handcuffed. You know, it doesn't matter if it was Randy Fichtner, Matt Canada, or now Arthur Smith. It's the same fucking offense. The play calling just changes, and maybe there's a couple of different little twists and turns, but I'm positive, absolutely positive that no matter who is calling the offense, they are under strict rules to minimize anything over the middle of the field.
Here's a statement by Ultra Cowboy. No leaders in the locker room. I agree with that. I bet he was traded to Dallas because him and Rodgers could not exist. I do not believe that. I don't believe that at all. I think Rodgers wanted him
there. Aaron was.
Go ahead.
Aaron wasn't even here yet when we traded George Pickens.
Yeah, but I think if he would have been here, Aaron would have loved to have him.
Absolutely. And George, again, George wrote that Player Tribune article where he openly admitted that he did not act right here. Players, if you talk and listen to like our beat writers that are in that locker room every day, several players were telling these reporters that they were done with him. They wanted him out. He was showing up late to games, let alone practice, showing up late to games. And I mean, he was immature, but at the same time, we definitely didn't use him as we should have. You know, that first year when we still had Deontay Johnson, I understand because Deontay Johnson was great at running routes, getting separation, getting open for those quick hitters, and then you send George deep. But once Deontay kind of did his thing and went out of there, they should have recognized that George Pickens is the athlete that he is. And maybe they could have fed him enough that he might have got his shit together a little bit. But at the end of the day, for all the people that are like, we should have never traded George, George wasn't going to fucking play here under that contract. Period. Point blank. End of story. Well, and the rest of the locker room wanted him gone because of the way that he was acting.
Well, do you think maybe he was acting that way because of Tomlin and because of his coaching staff and because he knew that he could be a number 1 wide receiver and they didn't treat him that way, Dees? Do you think maybe that's the problem? He knew he has talent. Look at it. It's showing in Dallas. I mean, yeah, I fault George for being the diva that he was and showing up late to games and all this other stuff. But you knew, I knew, and so did this franchise or the organization knew when they drafted him on what they were going to get from him. They knew that, and they still drafted him, and he balled off with Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph. Who else was their quarterback last year? Russell Wilson. He balled out with them guys, whether people like to believe that or not. He had 3 decent seasons with Pittsburgh. Now, you're right. He's probably going to be a top 4, maybe top 5 wide receiver in the league in the next 2 years.
I agree. And, yeah, I think that was definitely a factor. But again, you know, coming in, we knew that there were maturity issues there. And I think Tomlin overhyped himself and his ability to control the locker room. But when a guy is showing up late for games, let alone practices, and you've got other vets in there telling you, get this fucking guy out of here. I don't really know that at that point, once he lost the trust of his teammates, I don't know that there was a way to fix that.
Ultra
You know,
Cowboy
I
says
really don't.
G-
And Cowboy, yes, you're probably right.
yes, yep, I would
That
agree.
injury definitely dropped him. But there were also reports of his immaturity, so I think that played a part in it too. But yeah, I think it's both. I think his immaturity, and then he probably continued to be immature and pissed off because he knew his abilities could take him a lot further with an offense that would use him the way that he could have been used. But yeah, the thought of having him on the field with this team with a competent fucking offensive coordinator, yes, they would have been just unstoppable. I still believe that this offense could still be a above average offense if they actually played, you know, 2025 style of offense rather than whatever fucking ancient philosophy Mike Tomlin believes in.
I mean, I agree
It's
with
60.
you. I agree with you to a certain point. I just think that they got the personnel to do it, but they don't know how to coincide the offense that's tailored to their personnel. They don't. They don't know how to do that.
That's what I've been saying the whole time.
And
No, I don't think it's that they don't know how. It's that they refuse to. He refuses to. He keeps cramming square pegs into round holes and thinking it's just going to work.
yeah, I mean,
And the main thing Shoddy is doing is he's feeding him.
yeah, I mean, Shoddy's an offensive minded head coach. That's why. Look where he was at. He wasn't he with he was with what's his name in San Francisco?
Shanahan.
Shanahan. He was his offensive coordinator. I mean, you guys are
And again,
that's a good one. He's like an old condom in your wallet, ran its course. Love that. Love that. You're not wrong, Ultra Cowboy fan. Thank you for tuning in to Steel City Renegades. We're here every Sunday morning from 10 to 11. Make sure you guys go like our page on Facebook. And if you guys want to chime in, you can, like you guys are doing right now. But yeah, I mean, again, D's like this offense. Keys to the game today is I know you say run the football, but you're in home. You need another statement game from this offense, and you need another statement game from this defense. So you have to put it together on all three aspects of this game because you're not going to win if you can't do special teams properly. You're not going to win the game if you can't have good defense, and you're not going to win the game if you don't have good offense. And the problem is you got an injured 41-year-old quarterback that's out there that's his wrist is broke more than what they first originally thought it was. When is it time to tell him, hey, sit down, get 100% healthy, and give an opportunity to somebody else? When is that?
I don't. I think he's fine. Mace, it doesn't matter. If they're going to call an offensive game plan the way that they did with Mason, you might as well let Aaron do it because it's the same fucking thing. At least Aaron's a little bit better at reading the field and getting the ball out. But back to the Aaron Rodgers thing last week. Brooke Pryor reported that Aaron was still wanting to play. And your boy Noah Strackbine reported that on Thursday and Friday of the week prior to the Bears game, Aaron took most, if not all, of the first team snaps. And then on Saturday, that's when Tomlin told Mason and Aaron that Mason was going to start. And some members of the team, Jonnu Smith told Brooke Pryor he didn't know Mason was starting until he got to the stadium on Sunday. Are you fucking kidding me? You let Aaron take all these snaps and look, Aaron hasn't come out and said it. I wish he would because that would ease my mind a little bit. But maybe something happened on Saturday where Aaron was like, "Yeah, I don't know, coach. You better let him go." But he hasn't said that, so I got to go by what I know, which is that the team didn't know that they had a new starting quarterback until they got to the stadium on Sunday, and they were starting a guy who'd barely taken any reps during the week.
Yeah, but see, I
I
don't
don't
like
know.
I, I don't like hearing that because Mason is a better pro than that. And if your organization is ran better than that, then your backup quarterback needs to get some of your snaps. He has to. You never know when he's going to go into the game. You don't know that. You have to get these guys snaps. They're talking about
Well, it's
how.
just
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's just like Shadur Sanders when he came in for Dylan Gabriel a couple weeks ago, and he was, the backup quarterback and was not taking any snaps at all in practice. Like it's coaching malpractice.
I mean, and they're so high on Will Howard. Why are him with that? When is the time to turn to Will Howard? Is it next year? Save him? I think the only reason why they brought Asante Samuel up is because they were afraid somebody else was going to claim him off waivers. He was not protected. He was not a protected player, according to Jack Sperry. He was not protected by the Steelers. Jack Sperry said that yesterday in
Which
his.
does
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, that was a kind of a shock to me, and I would say that, yeah, they were probably fearful of that, and the fact that now that he's been there a few weeks, he's probably getting to be back in game shape. So yeah, they had to make a move there for sure.
Well, according to them guys, he's been there longer than a few weeks. He's been practicing outside of Pittsburgh after his rehab. He stayed in Pittsburgh the whole time during his free agency, and after he got released, I mean, he was in Pittsburgh after he went to the doctor and got his surgery. That he's been there working out is what the reports are. So, I mean, how long has he been ready? Have they been trying to see what they got with Trice or with Pierre or with Porter or with Slay? Is that what they were waiting to make a call today and say, oh, okay, well, we're going to put him up? What's the problem there? Is he going to, like you said, Deez, is he going to play
I
special
have
teams?
no idea.
Is he going to play special teams? We don't know. We don't know. It's got to be better than what's out there right now. Hopefully, he can get anywhere from 10 to 15 snaps, and make an impactful play, because we know how good he is when he does play and he's 100% healthy. And I just hope that he fits into this defense and makes an impact like Kyle Duggar has. And where's Peppers? Where's Peppers been at?
Special teams.
I mean, you brought the guy in.
I don't get why they. I mean, I honestly, I think a big part of that was the switch and the injury to Deshaun Elliott. Moving Jalen back there probably hurt Jabril Peppers' chance to get on the field. I wouldn't mind seeing them mix him in though, and again, give him different looks. I'm not saying every play, but maybe for one series or two, you throw Jabril Peppers in the safety spot, and you let Jalen Ramsey work the slot or be, just something different, something that's not on tape. Like fuck the other team up.
Yeah, Pittsburgh doesn't do
things like that. That's
Pittsburgh,
why. No, Tomlin doesn't do that.
well, he's Pittsburgh. He's the standard. He's the standard. He's Pittsburgh. He calls everything that. Pittsburgh doesn't do that. Here's the other problem. You talk about
100% agree, which is why I'm done.
Here's the other problem. We talk about Mike Tomlin. We talk about why he's the way he is. Why is the Steelers the way they are? Like Ultra Cowboy said, he's ran his course. You know why? He's too comfortable in Pittsburgh, and he knows that they're not going to make a change. He knows that. So sometimes when you're that comfortable, and this happened to me this summer, you get too comfortable somewhere, you tend to get lazy and don't care and say, hey, I don't care. They're not going to fire me. They're not going to get rid of me. Until you realize yourself, like I did this summer, I needed to take a step back and look at things from a bigger picture and look at it. Is my mental health okay? Is it for my mental health? Is it for my ego? No, because here's why. I was an announcer at 2 racetracks for the last 7 years. Okay. Yeah, part of it was my doing, but I got too lazy at the job. And what I thought was the owners of the racetrack, the fans and the race car drivers don't deserve me to be lazy out there on the microphone and not give them 100%. And I see the same thing in Mike Tomlin. He's not giving this franchise a 100% coaching job, because if he was, He would play to win football games and not to lose them, and not water down the defense or the offense and have control of every little thing that's out there. He would not do that. But he's not playing that way. He's playing to not lose the game because he knows that he can walk in there and say, hey, I had another winning season. That's all that matters. Or, hey, we went to the playoffs and we lost in the first round again. And I hate these Steelers fans that say, or these other fans that say, well, at least you got to the playoffs. If you go to the playoffs in your first week and you get blowed out, do you really think that that's going to the playoffs? No, it's not. It's not going to the playoffs. You get humiliated like they did last year and the year before and the year before that. You need to find ways to make this team better and get rid of this comfortability that you have with Mike Tomlin and the standard. I'm tired of it. Go get a coach that's offensive minded. Look at what Ben Johnson. Look what Ben Johnson has done in 1 year with Caleb Williams. 1 year, actually, in 12 games with 13 games with Caleb Williams. Look what he has done. It doesn't make sense. It appalls me.
He's like Peter from Office Space. He does just enough to not get fired.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I'm tired of these 9-8, 10-6, 10-7 winning seasons. The Steelers before that were about winning Super Bowls, not being mediocre. You know what you're going to get every year from the Steelers.
Not even necessarily winning Super Bowls.
Getting there.
But at least being contenders. Yeah, contenders. A team that you could look at and be like, they have a shot. And nobody in this world can convince me that the talent in that locker room right now today is not better than their record shows. Are they a Super Bowl team? Probably not. You know, a lot of shit would have to break their way, but they're better than they're showing on the field 1,000%. And to all the Tomlin nut huggers who are like, well, you know, he's a winner. He's a winner. 4 seasons he's won a playoff game. In all the years that he's been there, only 4 seasons has he finished with at least one playoff win.
Listen, and I want I want all them people to go back and watch every playoff game since 2015 and tell me that Mike Tomlin has prepared you or prepared this team to go out and win football games. Need I say Blake Bortles? Need I say Tim Tebow? I can keep going down the list. I can keep going down the list of quarterbacks that we should have beat, teams we should have beat. I can keep going. Baker Mayfield. You gave them 28 points during the COVID season, 28 points in the first quarter, and they smacked your ass.
The Steelers have not had a losing season in 20 years. Do you know who has had losing seasons in the last 20 years?
The fans.
Would you like to hear a quick list?
Yeah, go ahead.
No. The Patriots have had a losing season. The Eagles have had a losing season. The Chiefs have had a losing season. The Rams have had a losing season. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had a losing season. Do I need to ask you what those teams have in common over the last 20 years?
I know exactly where you're going. Coaching changes and Super
They've
Bowl.
all won a fucking Super Bowl.
Yes.
Not even necessarily coaching changes. Not even necessarily coaching changes because, you know, you have Andy Reid or whatever, but still, you know, losing seasons sometimes help you get back to where you need to be. Sometimes it's a reset. It's not something to hang your hat on to say, oh, I win. You win 9 out of fucking 17 games. Yay. Kudos. And then you shit the bed if you make the playoffs. That's not a good coach. And everybody's like, well, teams they'll jump at the chance for Mike Tomlin. Go ahead. Please go ahead, because I honestly do not think that Mike Tomlin can walk into a franchise that is struggling and all of a sudden turn them into a Super Bowl contender. I don't believe it for a second.
Okay, let's start with a few of them real
Can
quick.
he help them?
Let's start with a few of them. The Jets. Can he
The
walk
Giants.
the Jets?
The Giants. No, the Jets, fuck no. But the big rumor right now is the Giants. Can he help the Giants become a winning team? Yes. Can he get them to 9, 10 wins? Absolutely. Can he build that franchise into a Super Bowl contender? I, I'm not so sure. Not the way he coaches. I don't see it.
Okay, Cincinnati. Can he take Cincinnati to the Super Bowl?
I don't think God can take Cincinnati to the Super Bowl.
Can
Although
he
Joe
take
Burrow did, so I guess no, I don't.
can he take the Browns to the Super Bowl? With the way their roster is constructed right now, can he take
No, fuck no.
Can he take the Carolina Panthers to the
No.
Super Bowl? Can he take who else is shitty? If you gave him the offense that he has right now with Shane Steichen as his offensive coordinator and allow Shane Steichen to be the guy that he is, does he take the Colts to the Super Bowl?
Wait. You said Shane. Wait, say that one more time.
Do you if you move Shane Steichen to your offensive coordinator and give Tomlin the keys to the ship and be the head coach, does he have the Colts play the way that they do?
And Shane Steichen gets to do what he wants, or he's under Tomlin's thumb.
He's under Tomlin's thumb.
No.
Okay.
No. I don't. I think he can take a bad team and turn them into sort of contenders, like playoff caliber teams and teams that are always going to be flirting with the division and things of that nature. But I don't believe that he can turn a loser into a perennial winner and be Super Bowl contenders. I don't. If he goes away and proves me wrong, then hats off to him. Put him in the Hall of Fame. But at the end of the day, his time has come in Pittsburgh. It is absolutely time for a change. He's been here longer than Cowher was. He's been here longer than Knoll was. It's time to go. Or no, he hasn't. Knoll was here 69 to. He's been here almost as long as Knoll was. And guess what? It was time for Knoll to go. The game was passing Chuck Knoll by. He did an amazing job building that team, and those guys all got old and started to retire. The game started to change, and it was time for Chuck Knoll to hang it up, and he recognized that. Probably a couple years too late, but that's neither here nor there. And that's what's happened with Mike Tomlin. I mean, well, it happened a long time ago, but the simple fact is, like, the milk's gone bad. We need a fresh change. I think he needs a change of scenery. We got this report from Josina Anderson that a long tenured coach is looking. I don't know that I buy that. I think it's somebody that's looking for clicks, and if it does happen, maybe she can then pound her chest and say, "See, I tried to tell you." I don't know.
What was the report? Geez, I haven't heard anything about it. What was the report?
Josina Anderson basically put out a tweet saying that, speaking of the coaching carousel, the rumors are a long tenured coach may be looking at a change of scenery in the offseason. And every, internet Sherlock Holmes was running the list of like the top 5 tenured coaches and why or whether or not they would want to leave. And the only one that really makes any amount of sense would be Mike Tomlin.
Okay, so there's 5
But I don't necessarily buy that.
There's 5. I only think 3 off the top of my head. It would be Tomlin, Harbaugh, and Andy Reid. Who else is there? Who's got more years than them 3?
Shanahan is up there, and there was one more that had been at his place for quite a while. I can't remember who, but it doesn't matter. Like,
would you take Shanahan?
I don't necessarily believe the report, period.
Would you take Shanahan as the head coach?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. He's a great offensive coach. Again, I would be perfectly happy with Mike McCarthy, because I think Mike McCarthy is very good with young quarterbacks, and obviously we're going to have one here real soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
and I trust Mike McCarthy to hire a defensive coordinator that he will let do their job as opposed to limiting it to what he wants. Same thing with John Gruden. I'd love John Gruden. I don't know that the NFL will even allow that, or if Rooney would even want that kind of controversy, so to speak. But I would not want a guy fresh out of college as my head coach. Just not, because it just doesn't work. It's worked in my if memory serves me correctly, it's really worked only one time where a college coach came in and turned a team into a winner, and that was Jimmy Johnson. Every other time, and don't say Barry Switzer, because Barry Switzer didn't do shit with that team. That was Jimmy's team. But everybody else has pretty much failed. Pete Carroll failed miserably and then kind of had to go and reset at USC, and then he came back and did good with Seattle. I wouldn't mind a college offensive mind coordinator.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Deez, we got about 9 minutes left to go in this show.
You got it.
Go ahead.
One thing about Mike McCarthy, though, you got to remember he was under the fucking Jerry Jones thumb there, where he basically had to do what he did with players that GM Jerry Jones gave him. So I would, if they let Mike McCarthy do his thing, I would take him over a lot of other coaches.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, yeah.
8 minutes left to go in the show now. Let's get to our picks real quick.
All right. Kicking off the noon slate, 49ers, Browns. Shedeur Sanders gets another start.
Brock Purdy starting for the 49ers?
In Cleveland.
Is it Brock Purdy or Mac Jones starting?
Nah, I'm pretty sure it's still Purdy.
All right, so I'll take.
I think it's Purdy still.
I'll take. Browns defense looked really good last week. I'll take. San Francisco doesn't still know what they're at, what they got with quarterback wise. I'll take the Browns for this one. Defense.
Yeah, there's just so many injuries on that San Francisco team. I don't know how you can trust them. But again, everybody is kind of nut hugging Shedeur Sanders right now. But yeah, he got the win last week, but he was still 11 of 20. Like, it isn't like he set the world on fire. I'm gonna still take the Niners.
All right, well, you take the Niners.
Jacksonville Jags travel to Tennessee, take on the Titans.
Does anybody want Tennessee?
I got no reason to believe in Tennessee, so I'm going to take Jacksonville here. Although, I went Jacksonville. I almost.
Donnie says Cleveland. Donnie's taking a break.
All right. Houston Texans coming off that big win, taking on the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Danny Dimes apparently is hurt, but is going to play.
I'll take Danny Dimes.
I am going to also take the Colts. I think it's going to be a really close game, though, because that defense is legit for Houston. Moving on, we have the New Orleans Saints taking on the Miami Dolphins down in Miami.
I'll take Miami.
Yeah, I think they're slightly better than the Saints. They're 5.5-point favorites there, but yeah, I think big game out of A-Chain here. Give me the Dolphins. Atlanta Falcons traveling to New Jersey to take on the Jets. Falcons are 3-point favorites in that game. Kirk Cousins obviously is starting because Penix is on IR. Cousins didn't look terrible last week. I'm going to take the Falcons.
I'll take the Falcons as well.
Then we have the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. I'm pretty sure Baker's out, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Baker's out
with that shoulder.
Yep.
So yeah, without Baker, that's a pretty average team. I know Bucky Irvin's supposed to play, but I'm gonna go Cardinals there.
You know
Hard to trust. Was it
who's
Kyle
starting?
Trask as their backup?
You know what?
I
I'll stick with Tampa Bay. I'll stick with Tampa Bay.
All right. Then we have the Rams taking on the Carolina Panthers. As Panthers are 6-6, but the Rams are they're looking like a wagon right now. There's no way I can go against that team. Rams.
I'll take the Rams all day.
Minnesota Vikings travel out west to take on the 8-3 Seattle Seahawks. JJ McCarthy out. So Seattle is probably going to beat the ever-loving shit out of the Vikings.
Seattle.
Yeah. Then we have the Raiders.
The Raiders.
On the LA Chargers. You're picking the Raiders?
No, I'm just saying I just said it like that. The Raiders. I'm taking the Chargers.
Oh. Yep. Chargers for me as well. Then we have the Sunday night game tonight on NBC. We have the Denver Broncos taking on the Washington Commanders in Washington.
I'll take Denver. Denver
Yeah,
all day.
I think I'm going to go Denver there too. Monday night, we have the New York Football Giants traveling to New England to take on the Patriots. I believe Jackson Dart is back, but I don't believe it's going to matter. New England is kind of on a roll right now, so give me the Patriots.
Listen, I don't care who wins that game. Can we just see more Jameis Winston at tight end? Can we see Jameis at tight end, please? Give this man a touchdown. Give him a touchdown, please. Next game.
So what's your pick?
I'll take the Giants just for Jameis.
You didn't pick a winner.
Giants just for.
All right. Well, and finally, the reason that we're here, we have the Buffalo Bills coming into Acrisure Stadium today at 4:25 East, 3:25 national televised game. Bills, Steelers. Aaron Rodgers is back. Asante Samuel has been moved up. Bills coming in without both of their starting tackles, also missing some key defensive players. Believe there is only one player on the Bills front seven that weighs more than Darnell Washington. So that screams to me that's the truth. That screams to me run the football, which means that we won't. I'll let you go first.
As much as I want us to win and get back on the snide, I got Josh Allen in the fantasy, and I hate to say this. I think the Bills win this, and I think they win it big. I do. I just do. I think Josh Allen has a huge game against us.
Historically, the Bills have struggled in Pittsburgh. But I believe Josh Allen is, I thought I read 3-1, but I thought he played us a lot more than that. Either way, the Bills are coming off an embarrassing loss, at least embarrassing to them, to the Houston Texans. Josh Allen turned the ball over a lot. They did not look good. But they are also coming off 10 days rest. And the last time I checked, Mike Tomlin was still our head coach. So what I firmly believe is going to happen is I think Josh Allen is going to come into Pittsburgh today and dip his balls in Mike Tomlin's mouth as they beat the ever-loving shit out of Pittsburgh. And I'm saying that it's going to be Bills 34, Steelers 23.
So you're saying he's going to teabag him in a loss?
Yes. Yeah. We might find Josh having Mike bent over in the locker room later.
So you're saying he may taste the remnants of Haley Seinfeld.
Yeah. I think I think Josh Allen's going to find out what the standard is. But look, as much as I hate to say it, this is one of those fucking games when we've just thrown our fucking hands in the air and given up, and then they come out and they dominate a team, and we're like, hey, wait a minute. No, I ain't buying it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Bills beat the ever-loving shit out of them.
All
and
right.
I want Fire Tomlin chants in the stands.
Fire Tomlin. Fire Tomlin.
Gotta have it.
Let's go.
Gotta
all right.
have it.
For D's.
Gotta get loud.
For myself. Hopeful for a Steelers win. You guys have a good rest of your Sunday. And we'll see you back here next week. Same time, same channel. Steel City Renegades. We're out.